Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie review. I'm Owen Finch, and I'm here with
AJ Talent. Only 8 months after we were supposed to do it, and like 50 tries before this one.
I,
So yeah, we had like personal stuff and plus like school stuff going on when we were originally going to do this. Our schedules wouldn't mesh up, but now we're in quarantine. We have literally all the time in the world, so we
and we
can
were
finally
supposed,
sit down and do this.
yeah, and we were supposed to do this 2 days ago, but something happened with AJ's webcam that kept us.
Yeah, just the world just doesn't want us to review this movie.
Yeah,
But we're doing it anyway.
I know.
So
Yeah, we're gonna try anyway. Something could go wrong, like as we're recording. So hope fingers crossed. But yeah, let's get to the review. Obviously, as you know, I don't just review the movie itself. I talk about some behind the scenes stuff. So obviously, this movie is coming off of the success of Breaking Bad. Because obviously, if Breaking Bad was a huge failure, this movie wouldn't exist.
yeah.
It's kind of how it works.
Well, you never know. They may make a movie off an unpopular series. I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah, it's probably happened. I would be shocked too if the movie ended up being more popular than the series. That'd be actually kind of hilarious. But it's mainly based off Felina, the last episode of Breaking Bad. Everybody was questioning what happened to Jesse Pinkman because it was it was really left unknown because he just basically broke free from slavery from the neo-Nazis pretty much. I know that sounds really bad out of context, but
Yeah, Jesse was basically, he was really the only one who was left open ended.
yep. So Vince Gilligan wanted to kind of explore that storyline. I think you probably wouldn't find it now because of the movie. If you would probably look up what happened to Jesse Pinkman, a lot of people made like fan theory videos about what happened to Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, there were like a lot of people saying like his fingerprints were all over the lab, so he probably got arrested like 2 days later.
So Vince Gilligan, talked about how he wanted to explore that storyline. He talked about how he had two different theories about what he wanted to kind of do with Jesse Pinkman. One of them was this movie where he got away happy, like to Alaska or something, which he kind of alluded to because obviously we have the scene where he's with Saul, where he talks about that's where he wanted to go.
And we find out why he wants to do that in the first scene of the movie, which is really nice.
And then there was another storyline that happens that he thought of where he actually gets away, but like he was like dated someone that lived in Albuquerque, and like something happens to her, so he comes back and then he gets arrested at the end. I'm only saying it because it actually doesn't happen. And he's living in a jail cell, and even though he's like been locked up and everything, he's actually happy because he actually feels like he's in. Well, I guess he wouldn't be in control, but he actually feels like he's got some closure. But then pretty much Aaron Paul's girlfriend kind of, I don't think she necessarily hated it, but it just wouldn't have been a good ending to Jesse Pinkman's character. So, I guess Aaron Paul's girlfriend saved him from going to jail in fake life. So
I feel like Jesse's been through enough where he deserves a little bit of happiness.
And then, this movie was completely recorded in secrecy. And we're not just saying that because obviously if you've done the research, it's pretty well known. Like I remember we even did. There's probably videos that we've done and the Skype calls that we had where we literally tried to look up. We just knew the movie was coming. We didn't know the release date, and we didn't know anything about it. So
like we were planning on it coming out like late 20 or like mid to late 2020. And we're like, okay, we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
And then it comes out, and then we find out it was coming out like a month later, and we're like, well, shit, now we got to do our season reviews of Breaking Bad.
I think we have a video where we're like pissed about it too. Like,
yeah, we want this movie to come out, but we just finished Breaking Bad.
Yeah. So Vince Gilligan pretty much wrote this script. So I just gave away who wrote the movie now, by the way. I probably shouldn't have asked you all these tweets.
I mean, I kind of knew who wrote it anyway.
Yeah. He basically wrote the script by himself in secrecy. There was only like one copy. I mean, I think eventually he made several copies, but he made sure like only one copy, and like that copy of the script wasn't allowed to leave like wherever, like the studio and all this type of stuff.
But like Bryan Cranston flying for like 2 days and super secret about it.
Yeah, like he had to be like disguised and stuff like that, which honestly, I feel like they just prepared Bryan Cranston for basically the state of the world that's happening right now. So,
Yeah, I know. Because, I mean, imagine if you're a fan of Breaking Bad and you see Walter White in Albuquerque, you're like, Walter's alive. I mean, you wouldn't be right, but you know.
And since Mike's in this movie, Jonathan Banks was kind of filming Better Call Saul, and like if they saw someone in, that was in Better Call Saul, they would just say we're filming Better Call Saul. So that because luckily they were filming I think it was like season 5, like around the same time, so it kind of worked out in their favor in that sense. I wonder what they did for Aaron Paul though.
I don't know. Maybe just they like told people he was cameoing. I don't know.
And yeah, Vince Gilligan, they filmed it in secrecy. They got on obviously basically the same staff from Breaking Bad, like behind the scenes type of thing. And yeah, the filming started, which I feel like is important because me and AJ were kind of talking about it, considering the fact that it's a good thing they started filming the movie when they did, because obviously it wouldn't. I mean, maybe it would come out, but it's really tough to know. So I believe the filming started, I think we said 2019, not 2009, 2018. And obviously too, it's a good thing it started too, because Aaron Paul just finished wrapping up a TV show when he started this. So that kind of worked out in their favor as well. I can't get the dates right now of when filming started, but I feel like it was here it is. It started November 2018 to February 2019. That's like the window of and they recorded, they did overall shoots in that lasted 50 days and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. I'll talk about more of that type of stuff when we actually review certain scenes and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. A lot of the characters talked about maybe not how it felt like they never left, Aaron Paul and the actors who I'll say later that play Skinny Pete and Badger felt like that's they that they're one big family. I think they said the only character that really struggled to kind of get back into a role was Jane, because she had played this role probably since season 2, so it's been a long time.
Yeah. And I like how before the movie came out, Aaron Paul, he was on a talk show and he had to recap Breaking Bad in a minute.
Yeah.
And he was like, I started dating Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones dies, because the actress who plays Jane plays Jessica Jones. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Which I feel like I like that now, because I know we talked about it before, but that was kind of one of the main things, Vince Gilligan seeing the future in this type. Because remember,
yeah, they were talking about superheroes and stuff.
Yeah. There's a funny joke they do behind the scenes saying when Jonathan Banks feel like he's just tied to Vince Gilligan because he's basically done all his shows now, El Camino.
I think he's the only one who's been in all 3. He's been in El Camino, he's been in Better Call Saul, and he's been in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I believe what's his name? The guy that plays Ed, the disappearer. He thought he was kind of surprised he got a call because he was only in one episode, and there's because obviously there was a big tribute that they did for him because
he unfortunately passed away the day after the movie came out.
No, the day the movie came out.
Wow.
And he was surprised people recognized him from because he was only really in one episode. I know he's mentioned, but he was really only in it. So I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, that's pretty much all I can come up with. If I come up with anything else behind the scenes wise, we'll talk about it as we review the movie.
But now it's time for the little trivia for me.
Well, who directed? I feel like you should know who directed it.
I'm gonna say Huel. No, I'm kidding. Vince Gilligan.
Yeah. Oh, that's something I forgot about, by the way. They did a countdown special. This is funny because we made a joke out of this for a while. They use YouTube channels sometimes will do a countdown series of when a movie and stuff comes out. They'll do it 2 days before. I believe it was AMC, maybe Netflix too, since that's where it went. I'm just giving away all your quizzes, by the way. they did a special for Huel because remember last we saw Huel, he was like in a safe house because he was put there.
I know. I think I even said that. Like, I guess he just starves to death in that warehouse because we never see him again.
No, they just. I didn't actually see. I didn't see the countdown part of it, but I didn't know this happened because the countdown like lasted 3 days. I'm like, I'm not going to spend 3 days watching numbers countdown because I got better things to do with my time.
Wow.
I mean, it shows you like sitting in the warehouse, and I think eventually when it gets to like the last couple of seconds and stuff, it actually just shows him leaving the warehouse. So, and we don't know what happens from there, but we know he left the warehouse.
He becomes the new Heisenberg.
Huh?
I said he becomes the new Heisenberg.
Yeah, that'd be funny. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, Vince Gilligan, yes to exit. Do you remember? Do you know who produced it? You should know two of them at least, because I think.
Aaron Paul.
Because that's funny too, because we haven't heard any behind the scenes things of Aaron Paul getting a concussion or getting picked on like.
Yeah, I wonder why. It's almost like he's like before he goes in, he gets the call to come back as Jesse, and he's like, all right, first things first, I'm not getting injured again. All right, fuck that.
Yeah, I'm not having people say I'm gonna die in the. I don't think he would have cared at this point because it's a movie, but I'm not gonna have people mess around with me backstage and stuff.
Vince Gilligan originally had a scene where like a bowling ball is supposed to get thrown at Jesse's head or something.
Yeah. But so Aaron Paul produced it. Who else?
Vince Gilligan.
Yeah. You want me just to tell you the rest? Because I don't think you probably won't get them. So.
Probably not.
Mark Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa Bernstein. She's done a lot of Breaking Bad things. I think she worked on the show since like the day it started, pretty much. Charles Nieworth and Diane Mercer, who I think has also worked on the show before. I mean, some of the people too they brought in from Better Call Saul too. So I know who wrote it. You know who wrote it. So I just gave that away.
Yeah.
You know, I thought you were gonna answer. So.
Oh, well, I mean, you just said it, so.
Oh yeah, Vince Gilligan, based on Breaking Bad by Vince Gilligan. Do you know who did the? Do you want to guess who did the music?
I have no idea.
Dave Porter. He's done a lot of the Breaking Bad music. I don't really think there was even any songs really though. I don't really think there was.
I don't think there was any really standout music besides the end.
Yeah. So. Cinematography was done by Marshall Adams.
The camera work in this movie is really good. I really like that.
Yeah. The editing was done by Skip McDonald. The production company that produced this movie was Sony Pictures Television, Grand Via Productions, and High Bridge Productions. It was distributed by Netflix, which was obvious because it's a Netflix movie, which was pretty cool. Some theaters did release it. I'll talk about that when we actually talk about like how it did in ratings wise and stuff. They did have like some theaters where you can go watch it and pay money.
Yes, back when you could actually go to a movie theater. Good times.
Yeah. This is the big moment right here. Guess the release date.
Oof, I remember it was around my birthday. It was like October 8th, wasn't it?
October 11th.
It's close.
Yeah, I think that's the closest. 2019 too. So.
Yeah, obviously.
It was the country that like produces it and stuff is the United States. Mm-hmm. It's filmed in English. It doesn't give an exact budget, but the budget is more than $6 million. We don't actually have like an exact number or anything like that. So I wasn't gonna have you guess that because we don't even know. So
the movie seemed pretty low budget. Like I mean, like one explosion happens at the end. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean they have I'm assuming like money has to go into to record to film into certain areas and that type of stuff. And,
right, stuff like that. But like I'm saying, there's not like any like special effects that I thought would be like super costly.
Yeah, pretty much. There's nothing costly really in this movie. And yeah, pretty much we can start reviewing the movie now. I did all the
20 minutes in. But hey, it's good. At least we're thorough. So the movie starts off with a flashback to Mike and Jesse.
Well, one thing I want to talk about that I like that they did too. on Netflix. I don't know if it's there now, but they did like a little montage. Like there's like a montage that's like maybe 3 minutes of like showing that everything that kind of Jesse went through in Breaking Bad, which I thought was a nice touch because if you want like us who went back and we watched it, well, with like my dad, he hadn't seen it probably in like 3 years or so. So it kind of reminded him of everything that
Yeah, Jesse was really through the ringer by the end. And that was that was nice. I forgot about that actually.
But I'll let you talk about the opening scene because I know it's like two of your favorite, like probably top 5 favorite characters in it.
Oh, easily top 5. So we see Mike and Jesse right by that same river where Mike ends up dying, which is a really nice touch. And we, based on what they're talking about, they're saying how Walt's going to be really upset about the deal they're talking about. So we assume this is after the train heist, and Mike was just talking with Declan, the hype man of the Breaking Bad universe, to get shit on the war. And they're saying how, after they make this deal, they'll basically be out and they'll never have to deal with any of this crazy drug business again. And, Jesse's making small talk, like, what would you do if you were my age and you could just, could like start a new life anywhere. And Mike says Alaska, because it's the final frontier, and he can be anyone he wants there. And I like what Jesse says, where he says, make things right. And Mike says, that's the one thing you can't do, kid. And I think Mike's right. They've killed people, they've done a lot of damage, and they can't really take any of those things back. But and I guess they could try to do some good before they're gone. And I guess that's really what's sad about Mike. He never really got that chance to retire, make sure his granddaughter got his money.
Yeah.
It sucks knowing that in the end, Mike really wasn't able to make it right.
Yeah, I like this scene a lot. And, when he says a lot, because we went back and watched Breaking Bad, because I wasn't waiting 8 months to watch this movie. So I'm like, yeah, I'm watching this movie. We'll finish the Breaking Bad series still. And I think, too, like I had seen this, and then we watched, obviously, I think we talked about it when we did the review. It was really cool that this scene, and it really means something because, in Breaking Bad, even though this was recorded before that, you found out, that this scene, it really gave a lot of touch to that scene that, Jesse wanted to go to Alaska. So it was kind of a reverse reference type of thing.
Yeah, it's really cool that, it shows how much Mike meant to Jesse, that he, took his advice to heart.
And I haven't actually talked about it. So I have now seen 3 seasons of Better Call Saul because I've been in quarantine. So it's not like I really had, it's not like I have a lot to do anyways. So
basically Owen catch up to me in 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't finished season 3, but the cool thing about it though is Mike saying now he could never make it right means a lot more to. We won't talk about it, but Mike's story, in season 1 of Better Call Saul and all this type of stuff.
It's. I feel like all these flashbacks, the conclusions they already got, were the best send off they could have gotten. I feel.
Yeah.
But these scenes are a nice little they just make it better,
Yeah.
So Mike's death is one of the best moments in Breaking Bad. And it was a good end to his character, but this kind of just makes it all the more better. Same with the thing. Walt's last line, which we'll talk about later on in the movie. That wasn't his death was the end of his character, but that just kind of made it better,
Yeah. So and I got to say it now because I forgot to talk about it. The only Breaking Bad characters that make an appearance really are Jane, Mike, Walt, and Todd.
Pretty much. The movie's pretty much, and Jesse, obviously.
Vince Gilligan talked about it.
Badger.
Vince Gilligan talked about it though. The reason he did this was because he wanted, he had thoughts about putting back other past characters, but he wanted to kind of bring back characters that were going to fit Jesse's story. So it wouldn't have made any sense, obviously, to bring back someone that wouldn't really be connected with it. So I actually kind
I was surprised with this movie. I wasn't expecting it to be so. I think I even told you about this before you'd seen the movie. I was like, I was surprised it was so like Jesse centric.
Yeah.
Because I guess I kind of expected it to be like a Breaking Bad epilogue. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe we see like how Skylar and Junior react to Walt's death from the news, and you know, like see maybe like how Saul felt about it. You know, like we kind of like jump all over.
Yeah.
And of course, like Jesse would be the main character, but we see bits and pieces of how like the end of Breaking Bad affected everyone.
Yeah.
We didn't really get any of that, which I feel like it's fine. It's not like I was like disappointed. It's just different when I was expecting, and also like I was surprised at how much of the movie is in Albuquerque.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like like of course at the end of Breaking Bad, they made it pretty clear if Saul was like, if you miss your chance with the disappear guy, like that's it, you're done. So I expected Jesse to be like on the run, especially if the movie's called El Camino, and he got away in Breaking Bad in El Camino. So I kind of figured he wouldn't get rid of the El Camino in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected him to be on like a road trip type of thing. And I wasn't disappointed that he was in Albuquerque for most of it. I was just like surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, then it kind of catches up to the present. We see obviously Jesse driving away because he just because it takes place like right after Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's like literally like 20 seconds after Breaking Bad.
The police are obviously, he has to hide from the cops and stuff because this is obviously when the police are going over there, because we know at the end of Breaking Bad, like the police like showed up like 2 seconds later.
And it's weird to think that like that scene where Jesse's hiding, like it's at that exact moment Walt dies.
Yeah, pretty much. We get to kind of see like an outlook of Albuquerque. Like we see that Los Polo Hermanos is like the restaurant that it actually is in real life. Twisters like turn into that. Saul's office is like a bar now. So we get to. I think it's kind of cool that we got to kind of see all these places one last time. So
yeah, it's kind of what I was saying earlier, where it's nice to see like how Albuquerque in the world has been affected by like the events of Breaking Bad.
And we haven't really seen any of this stuff. Well, minus Los Polos Hermanos, because we've seen it in Better Call Saul. We hadn't really seen any of this stuff really since what, season 4 of Breaking Bad? Because we didn't.
Yeah, it had been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see that Skinny Pete and Badger are playing. I think it's meant to be like Call of Duty.
And I like how they're talking about how they basically blew all the money Woke gave them on the chairs that they were sitting in.
Yeah, it was funny. And we see Jesse goes to their door, and he knocks on it. They don't even recognize him because Jesse's just, I mean, if you've seen the end of Breaking Bad, he's dirty. He hasn't, like, shaved or anything like that, like, since he's been in there.
Yeah, actually, they did a really good job, like, making them look like they did at the end of Breaking Bad.
Some of it was makeup effects because, obviously...
yeah, it had been like 5 or 6 years since the end of Breaking Bad.
They had to make, and some of it they had to like. They talk about it like they had to remake like a lot of the clothes and stuff because they didn't have it because they didn't get rid of it, but it's been 6 years, so
and it's weird to think that like Aaron Paul was like 29 when he started Breaking Bad. Now he's like 40.
Yeah. So yeah. They finally realized it's Jesse, like when they finally answered the door. And it's kind of cool because we literally just talked about this. Jesse, because even though this is like a couple of days after they had found out, but they had thought Jesse just went to Alaska. So this is like 2 days afterwards, and they're kind of surprised to see Jesse.
Well, it says Jesse when he finds out about the blue meth on the street. So they were like, "Oh, is Jesse still in town? We thought he went to Alaska."
Yeah. So Jesse pretty much just like scarfs down some food and goes to sleep. Because he's been in quarantine, basically in quarantine. Just a shitty version.
Quarantine.
Yeah. And then the news pops up about the events of the end of Breaking Bad. So this is kind of when they find out. that Jesse's basically been in slavery for months. So pretty much, I really like this because this was kind of like Jesse having to like transition from being out of there. It took him a while. He doesn't really like to take a shower because it reminded him.
He remembers like first got there, they like hosed him down.
Yeah. He had been really in the sunlight. Because we do find out it's not like he's been completely cut off sunlight, because we see in a flashback he goes out later, but that flashback could have been like months ago and that type of thing. So
yeah, what was I gonna say? When Jesse first wakes up in his bed, like he thinks the blinds are like the cell of his cage, and he like freaks out, and he like holds his gun, the Skinny Pete and Badger, because he doesn't realize where he is.
Yeah.
And when he gets in the shower, he like has his gun he's keeping his gun with him at all times, like he's super paranoid.
Yep. Jesse actually like shaves and stuff like that. With Skinny Pete and Badger were like surprised he did that, considering the fact that now he's going to be able to be recognized, because that's what
they were saying maybe you should keep your look as it is, because it'll be harder to recognize you.
But I guess Jesse
was like, no, I'm done being a prisoner. I don't want to even think about that anymore.
Yep. So
Jesse, I'd rather be caught by the police than continue living like that.
And then Jesse pretty much kind of realizes, and he still has like his skulls and stuff too, which obviously was
yeah, we can't really get rid of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool how like he's being super quiet.
Yeah.
Like during all this, like he's not really being talkative.
Because that's how you would probably.
I think Badger or Skinny Pete offer him some like weed or meth, and he's like, "Nah, man, I'm good." So it's kind of cool to show that like Jesse's done with that shit. He's been scared straight. He's not doing any more drugs.
Yeah, and it's cool because that's how like people usually act when they like get home from a war or.
Yeah, Jesse's got like PTSD now, basically.
So Jesse realizes pretty much that he has to get rid of the El Camino because he knows the cops are going to be looking for it. So
yeah, it's Todd's car.
Yeah, he calls old Joe, which was cool that they brought him back because he had helped Jesse and Walt like long enough, and it was kind of cool, like a cool Breaking Bad like thing that they brought him back, and pretty much so that way he can get rid of the car and just junk it. And
I like how when he gets there, he's like, "Don't worry, kid. It's on the house," because like he knows Jesse's been through a lot of shit, because he's watching the news. And then how quickly he just forgets that.
Yeah. So yeah, we find out that there's a tracker on Todd's car. So he pretty much takes off and says like the cops, because I think what I was told, like there's also a tracker, but he also set it off somehow by like touching it and stuff, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, and it's to be clear, it's not like the cops put it there. Just like the cars come with like a special like beacon, I guess, where you can like, if it's stolen.
Yeah. So pretty much, Skinny Pete has the idea that he's gonna have Badger take his car and just drive like 100 miles and hitchhike back, pretty much. He's going to take the El Camino. He's going to let Jesse take his car. And, Jesse, I think, is really appreciative that Skinny Pete and Badger are basically risking their lives pretty much to...
I mean, and to be fair, Skinny Pete's like, you know what, I'll just say you showed up, I didn't know you were a criminal, and you left,
Yeah.
And actually that ties into the trailer, because in the trailer we see Skinny Pete being questioned by the police.
Yeah.
And that scene wasn't in the movie, but we can assume that's what happened afterwards, like when the cop showed up at his house.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and then, that trailer, that like teaser trailer was like the first thing we saw, yeah. And Skinny Pete says that he's doing that because Jesse's his hero, pretty much, which I thought that's kind of cool. That was kind of like the last goodbye that they had to each other. And
this kind of said that like Jesse just, doesn't see them again after this.
Yeah. Which kind of sucked. I kind of wanted to see like a little bit more. I thought they'd be in it more because
especially because Pete was in the trailer, so I'm like, oh, Pete's gonna be like in it more.
Yeah. but I kind of like this. I thought this was cool because we never really got to see like Skinny Pete and Badger really like serious because
they're always being like goofballs, because they were never in like the high level shit like Jesse and Walt were.
So this was kind of cool. We got to kind of see them in that light. And yeah, pretty much just Jesse drives away. We see like cops are looking for him. And
I think Jesse's like wearing like a hat or something to like like hide his face.
Yeah, we see that they do like that great Breaking Bad stuff where we'll see like a montage of like cars like driving around like a zoom out of the buildings. I always enjoy when they do that type of stuff. And this is kind of, we don't really mind that this happened, but we have a bit of a gripe with it. So then we hear on the radio that pretty much Walter White died and that Lydia is in critical condition, obviously from the events.
Right, and it's like I think we were both happy they kept Walt dead. Because don't get me wrong, we love Walt, but like him dying was just like such a good end to his character.
Yeah.
I am kind of surprised they confirmed it though. I feel like I thought they were gonna like keep it ambiguous if he died or not.
Yeah.
But if there was an option between him being dead or alive, I am glad he was kept dead. Also, because it's like if he was alive, he would have just gotten arrested. Like so what?
Yeah. But I really like that but I just kind of don't really. I'm not the biggest fan of how they did it because we didn't really get to see like what Jesse's reaction was to Walt being dead because it just happens in the call and we don't really see it because all we see is like his eyes like in the car and everything because he's on the run pretty much and stuff. So we don't.
Yeah, it's just kind of there to confirm it and then move on.
Yeah, it would have been nice to kind of because considering the fact too that like towards the end of Breaking Bad, Walt and Jesse like had such a weird relationship because obviously he found out that Walt poisoned Brock and Walt also saved him from slavery and things like that. It kind of would have been nice to see what Walt's reaction to it was. I'm sorry, Jesse's reaction.
I feel like Jesse, they weren't cool, but they didn't like hate each other either.
So it would have been.
So it would have been nice to see like even if Jesse, even if you think Jesse did absolutely hate Walt, no matter what, Walt was such a big figure in his life. Like he was so influential in his life. It kind of would have been like, even if Jesse hated him, I feel like he would have had like some reaction that's finding out he was dead. Yeah. I mean, granted, he kind of knew he was gonna die because he saw like he had like the blood wound.
Yeah.
The gunshot wound. So I guess he kind of knew he was gonna die, but still.
So then we see Jesse go into like this abandoned apartment. Well, the building's not abandoned, but the apartment room is abandoned because we find out in the flashback that it's Todd's apartment. Because I think we see like Jesse looking at pictures of like Todd and stuff like that. And we know he's looking for something. Well, we assume it's money.
Yeah, we get like a montage of
because I'm assuming Jesse
apartment apart basically.
Because Jesse can't go back to his house and get the money that he got originally because that's going to be the first place they're looking for him. So he's got to get his own money. And maybe the neo-Nazis, maybe they stole it too. So.
And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, we see the tarantula that he stole from Drew Sharp.
I thought that was a nice callback. And I really like it too because like. The kitchen and stuff, like, you don't really, I think, like, this is how you knew that it was Todd's apartment. It was because of that, but, because Todd's kind of messed up, but he has, like, all these globes that have, like, messed up things about it.
Yeah. I'm moving my computer because my, like, legs are falling asleep.
So, you see, like how messed up it is. It's been a bit since I've seen them. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen it, so I don't remember exactly what they were, but, basically, picture like the type of globes Todd would have. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that he had, the tarantula. Though I thought that was a nice callback. That he kept it.
Yeah. And it's getting the tarantula is kind of like a symbolic of Jesse, like he's like trapped in a cage.
Yeah. And then we see a flashback.
Yeah, we should probably just talk about the whole flashback, right? Because they kind of like break it into two bits.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the flashback, or do you want me to talk about it?
We can both talk about it, I guess. Just give our thoughts on it. So, we find out like Jack and his crew like went out for like a week or something, and Todd needed help getting like a part for his El Camino, and so he has Jesse like leave come out with him.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I kind of like how he's like looking at Jesse's face and like grabbing it, and he's like saying like, if you got to be good or else I'm gonna have to pay a visit to that little kid, kind of showing that like Todd treats Jesse like a pet.
Yeah.
And Jesse gets in the car with Todd. They go to his apartment, and there's a dead lady in Todd's apartment.
Yep.
And Jesse's like, Jesus Christ, dude. And Todd's like, look, I don't want to get into it. Very sad, And I like how Todd's just like super deadpan the whole time. Like he's saying it's tragic. I didn't want to do it, but like you can clearly tell he doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah. I feel like in a sick way, he kind of cared, but like he didn't care also in a sense. Like I don't think he would have done it like maliciously, obviously, but I feel like he only did it because she found it. Because we find out like he kept his money like in like a cookbook, probably several of them. So
yeah, and that's how Jesse knows that Todd's money's at his apartment.
Yeah, so that's why they need to show this flashback. But I feel like in a twisted, like in his own mind, he cared, but like, and like when we look at it, he really didn't care, type of thing. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like like when Mike kills someone, he's very professional about it. You can tell he's not doing it out of like it's strictly business for him.
Mm-hmm.
But Todd, it's like he's it's kind of like that fake, like, oh, I'm so sorry,
Yeah, that type.
Or it's kind of like he treats killing someone like I accidentally ate your food that was in the fridge,
Yeah, exactly. So him and Jesse, have to like pretty much get rid of the body. So they go off to the desert.
What the fucked up thing is they have to like wrap it in like a carpet.
Yep.
And then Jesse has to sit in like the back of the truck with it, and it's like rolling next to him, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah, I hate it. I really like to a scene that they did is you see like Todd's listening to, I believe it's called like Stars in the Night or something, like a really peaceful song, kind of showing like Todd acts like this outgoing and this type of stuff, like he's this good person, but like deep inside he's like just sick and twisted.
And like whenever a truck goes by, he's like honk honk, like it's like does he really feel bad about killing an innocent lady?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I guess we should point out because like a lot of other people were pointing it out. Like Todd clearly like gained weight.
Yeah.
In like 6 years, I didn't really care. That's something like a lot of people were pointing out.
I feel like too. He also like he still looked the same, but you could tell like he was wearing makeup to make himself like look like he was still like younger, stuff like that. Really not that big of a deal because people age. Like, watch. I bet the same people that would say that would be like, "Oh, Mike did look all that different," and this type of thing. He looks like.
Well, I feel like that's why people pointed out because like Mike and Jesse look like they don't look that much younger than what they were in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I feel like Jesse, it's a little more noticeable that he's like older.
Yeah.
But like from what we see, pretty much a lot of them look the way they did in Breaking Bad, and I guess it's like Todd just kind of stands out more.
Mike, in all fairness, I don't think is aging any. Well, Jonathan Banks, he's not aging probably anymore. He's pretty much done aging. So,
is that a thing? Do you stop aging once you hit a certain point?
Well, he's not. I feel like too. Maybe not done aging, but it was only. He's not. He's clearly gonna look. I feel like he's gonna look the same that he did, like unless he got sick or something. But
yeah,
I don't think he was.
Jonathan Banks. Yeah, he drank from the fountain of youth. He's good.
Yeah, but yeah. So pretty much, you show that this shows that he doesn't really give a crap. And there's actually the desert that they go in. There's actually like a nice little behind the scenes of it. I just have to,
Yeah, because they're going to bury her, and I like how Todd's like, should we say some last words for her?
Yeah.
Like a eulogy, and it's like, Todd, you're so fucked up.
And Jesse doesn't really know what to say because, well, one, he thinks he's fucked up, but he doesn't really know who this is. So, You know, so then, Todd, Jesse pulls out. I think he asked for a lighter for a cigarette, and Jesse sees that his gun's in there. I'm assuming Todd put it in there on purpose. And Jesse gets his gun like he's gonna shoot Todd, but it's kind of like once he grabs the gun, it's like he wants to shoot him, but he knows that he can't because
because like it doesn't solve anything. Like
they
once they realize Todd's dead, they would just go kill Brock.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I feel like Jesse could just like, I mean, like granted, Jesse's like got like not Stockholm syndrome. He's just like he feels so powerless that he probably didn't think of this. He probably could have just killed Todd, and kidnapped Brock and then went on the run.
Yeah. But then the cops are probably still looking for him. So
yeah, so it's like it probably wouldn't work, but like it just kind of shows how defeated Jesse is. Like he doesn't even really try. He points the gun at Todd and he's like, Todd's like, hey, I can get you a pizza. You know, you worked really hard today.
Yeah. And I think too, but the thing is too,
Jesse's like, yeah, pizza works, man. Like he's just so defeated.
I feel like too, like another thing too, like even if he does that to Todd, like he's kind of putting Todd like into that's something he put into like his shit life kind of in a sense too, like.
Yeah, and I guess the point of that was to show like, you know, even though Jesse was out in the open, and he could have gotten away, he's still in that cage, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's what this movie's really about, like Jesse breaking free from that cage. Even if he's not physically in that cage anymore, he still needs to break out of that cage.
So yeah, there's
symbolic because he ends up killing the people who made his confinements, you know.
So yeah, that's something cool about this scene. Like, Breaking Bad usually doesn't film outside of Albuquerque. There's been scenes that they say take place outside of Albuquerque, like when Walt went into hiding in New Hampshire. He really didn't, because with the TV show, it's a pain in the ass to move all the equipment outside of Albuquerque because you only have a certain amount of time to get everything filmed, so you would miss your release date. Because they were only filming really one thing, they actually did this scene in the Painted Desert in Arizona, which I think is actually kind of cool. You know, they also use like drones and other things like that to really get this recorded. I have a feeling like I can't put probably like when you see like scenes like where you see like when they're like filming up because you see outside the desert and like a zoom out, that's probably went into drone and that type of thing. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool that they got to kind of go outside of Albuquerque to record stuff because they were never really able to do that before. Because like I said, it's not a pain in the ass and that type of thing. I'm assuming they recorded this scene like obviously all in not one shot, but like, you know, one day and stuff like that. They didn't go and come back because that doesn't really make any sense.
And since we were talking about the Todd flashbacks, I think we both like the Todd flashbacks, and it's like, you know, you were saying it's good because we didn't really get a lot of Todd or like he was kind of overshadowed by all the other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to show like just how fucked up he is, like, you know, like even more so, and like how just shitty Jesse's life was while he was being held captive.
Because we didn't really get to see a lot of that either, because he was pretty much, we only got to see like maybe like when he was there like a day, and then they did the jump cut and stuff.
Yeah, we saw like him in the cage and like him cooking for them, and you know them killing Andrea.
Yeah.
And so I get it, but like I feel like the flashback's a little too long, just because it's like it does take up a good chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
Compared to the other flashbacks, because the other flashbacks are like a minute long each, you know.
I think what they could have done is like I still would have kept. You could still have them, but like instead of maybe like going out to the desert, because then one it saves you a trip from going to Arizona. So there you go. But also too, like maybe like instead like, you know, have Jesse about to kill him in his apartment, and you could literally have the same scene. Like
Jesse finds a gun in his apartment, and Jesse like goes into his kitchen, holds him at gunpoint. He's like, and he just, you know, they give up, and then they bury him.
Not even a gun, like you grab the knife or something. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like they could have combined the two scenes somewhat, just because So I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I like the Todd flashbacks. It's just like it's kind of weird because like the other 3 flashbacks are all like really short.
Yeah. Especially.
And, like again, I think Todd's a cool character. I like he's a good villain.
Yeah.
Like I like Walter, Jane, and Mike more. So I kind of wish it's like I can't cut his flashback down a little bit.
I don't think Mike needed more, but I feel like Jane needed a little bit more. Than,
especially because she was like the last flashback that we had,
yeah.
And like her message at the end was kind of like the theme of Jesse's ending.
Yeah.
And
so then,
so like Mike and Walt's flashbacks were all pretty good length. I feel like those didn't really need changing.
I would just and also too you could add a little bit more to Jane's and maybe because me and AJ talked about it. Well, we like the stuff that happens in the present, not what happens in the present. So maybe we could have added some scenes like in the present too.
For real. Like I mean, we were going to talk about it more throughout the review, but like pretty much Jesse goes to Skinny and Pete, goes to Todd's apartment, goes to the disappear guy that has like a shootout, and then that's it. He only goes to like 4 places. I mean, for a movie, that's pretty good. It's just kind of like if you take out the flashbacks from the movie, it doesn't really feel like a lot's happening.
Honestly, I think Vince Gilligan talked about how he was considering making this like a mini series. This was probably going to be it. Like, and then he added the flashbacks and stuff too. So
yeah, I mean, I would have loved a mini series of Jesse just like running around Albuquerque trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I think in universe like this only happens over like 2 days.
Yes.
So it would have been cool to see like Jesse like, and I get it's like the Ed, the disappear guy. We're gonna talk about it, I guess, but I'll just bring it up now. He won't take Jesse over like $1,800, and Jesse even brings it up. It's like you're not gonna take my like $500,000 over $1,800,
Yep.
So I feel like I don't know. They could have like, that was kind of a dumb reason.
Yeah. So then, meanwhile, as this is happening, we also met in the flashback Lou, who was like Todd's neighbor who wanted to like get into everybody's business and just won't leave you alone type of thing. So that's a great. I would love to have that guy as my neighbor, but he ended up saving Jesse's life later. So I guess
Yeah, Jesse's like searching his apartment, and then 2 cops show up.
Yeah.
We're looking at your phone, but I did air quotes.
Yeah, 2 cops, because I was trying to get the names. And we find out their names are Neo and I believe Kenny. I think that's the other guy's name. Yeah. So we see like they're searching the place because which is real. I actually think that's realistic because they've been looking for Todd and stuff like that anyways. We should have been a little bit more suspicious. I'm thinking about this now because they should know that Todd's dead anyways because, his body was left there. So
they're probably looking for his apartment for evidence, probably. But I mean, I was suspicious of them from the get-go. But
yeah. Well,
the timing's too perfect. One of them like goes.
Oh, before this though, we forgot a big scene before this.
Right. Jesse's parents.
Yeah. So I think Jesse like sees someone flicking through the channels like across the apartment like across from Todd's, and he sees like his parents on there. So he changes the channel, and I thought it was cool that they brought his parents back because it actually made sense.
Yeah, like his parents are getting interviewed because of course Jesse's face is all over TV. Because everyone knows that like Jesse was like Walt's right-hand man, so they're looking everywhere for him.
Basically they're telling Jesse just to turn himself in, that it's the right thing to do, pretty much. Because they, I think they feel like too, like they're kind of stuck in his life again, in his life again, because they found out like
so worried about him, because like they saw like he was kept in a cage and they're like, son, please, whatever happened, we could work it out.
Yeah. And then I think that's when the cops come in, or cops, as we said, And then one of them sees, I believe it's Kenny sees the tarantula, and I think he drops one of the snow globes, and it rolls in, and we see like there's just a black screen, and Jesse like pops out holding him at gunpoint, and forces him to put his hands up, and then he calls over Neil, and he calls him like deputy or something, which was kind of like a signal to him to show like something was off because, as we said in the air quotes, they're not real cops. So that's when he goes for his gun and stuff like this, like that. And then they see Jesse
I think
Pinkman.
he calls him sergeant, like he calls him the wrong rank or something.
Yeah. And they kind of have like a gun standoff. Like Jesse threatens to kill the guy, but if he gets killed, and Neil's trying to talk him down and this type of stuff.
Yeah,
Eventually,
Jesse don't want to hurt you, and you don't want to, you don't want to kill a cop.
So Jesse,
lying, because like Jesse doesn't like killing innocent people, obviously.
Yeah. So Jesse doesn't kill him. He lets the guy go, and
he surrenders basically.
They didn't expect him to do this, so they didn't really. Because they didn't really know. So they didn't really know what to do from this point. So they basically like tie him down, and
just like, what the hell are you doing? And then Jesse realized like they're not real cops.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be shocked, by the way, if we find out like when they make because they might make a DVD so they can do like a commentary over it. If we find out like maybe something happened to Aaron Paul right here, like I don't know. I feel like we're gonna find that out. Like they accidentally hurt him. So
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe they made anything related to Breaking Bad with Aaron Paul in it, and he didn't get injured horribly. I wouldn't be surprised if they have him show up in Better Call Saul to get him injured, and then not even put him in Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
They just have him show up to Better Call Saul just so they can injure him.
Yep. I mean, maybe that's why Vince Gilligan really wanted to make this movie to begin with. He just wanted to hurt Aaron Paul some more.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, though, so I think then the neighbor, forget his name now, Lou, he's just being nosy. He says that he has like information that he thinks could be useful, but he's just being nosy, really. So Kenny distracts him, and the only reason they let Jesse go is he mentions that he knows where the money is.
Yeah, and then he like basically rips open his fridge and find the money, and Jesse starts like putting some of it in the bag, and Neil puts a gun to Jesse's head, and he's like, "No, we're taking the money."
Yeah,
and Jesse's like, "I'm dead if I don't take this money, and if you kill me, you're gonna have to silence everyone in this apartment building, who hears the gunshot." So Neil's like, "Good point," and also like, yeah, I think he was also kind of like, you know what, I respect that. I respect you sticking to your guns. So sure, you can take a third of the money.
Yeah, and I think like the cops leave and stuff, and well, yeah, like I said, cops. And then we find out that
Jesse like walks out with Neil and goes up to his car, and he sees a logo for like a company on Neil's car, and Neil says like, I was wondering when you'd remember me. Yeah.
So we find out that Neil was somehow working with the neo-Nazis. We didn't
he wasn't actually a neo-Nazi himself. He was just like someone they hired on to like help. I mean, we can talk about the flashback now, right?
Yeah, because it's basically it's
no real point hiding it. So basically, like Neil was the one who helped like construct the super lab, the like thing to keep Jesse tied down.
Yep.
And tried to escape. And we have a flashback from Jesse's point of view of like when Jesse was in the cell and they were like working on it, and like all the sparks from like the blowtorch were like going into his cell, and Jesse had to keep like running around.
Yeah.
And also when they were like testing the strength of the string, one of the neo-Nazis made Jesse keep like jumping and like hurting himself to try and break free the string.
Yeah. I thought that was it just really showed how Jesse was tortured and stuff like that. So
yeah, like they just basically like used him as like a guinea pig and like for fun.
I feel like too, and like I said, but they weren't just doing this for fun. We talked about it too because they found out Jesse was a rat, so that's also why they were doing this.
Well, I feel like that's why they were doing it. They're like, you're a rat piece of shit, so we're gonna just like fuck with you for fun.
Yeah. There's actually a cool story about this. The actor that plays Neo, Scott McArthur, like was a huge Breaking Bad fan. I think literally he said for his honeymoon, all him and his wife did. Well, that's probably not all they did, but a good chunk of it was them just starting to watch Breaking Bad, which is kind of cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah. So that's awesome.
Like,
I'm glad he got to kind of like be in the movie then.
Yeah. I forget I'm assuming he just went in for a casting and he just got the role. I don't exactly remember how that went down, but I'm assuming that's what. Because I don't think he. Yeah, I mean, he seems like obviously he's a pretty. I don't think he's like a big actor, like where Vince Gilligan would say, "I want you." I'm assuming he had to go do actually like rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was kind of cool. So then we see Jesse, because we don't know what Jesse's doing with this money at this point. So this is when he actually goes to the disappear guy, which I believe is Ed, which is kind of cool. It was cool that he was in it again. We know, and Jesse knows that it's him because he sees the same red van that he pulled up in, like parked outside. So he goes in. At first, he's just with like a normal customer with a problem with like the vacuum or something. So I really kind of like that. It showed that like he was acting like genuinely like a good guy. Jesse is trying to basically get the password so that way he can.
Yeah, he's like, I ordered like you're the guy with the red van. I walked, I didn't get in your van that day, but I ordered what was it, like a vacuum 9000 or something. Like he doesn't remember the exact thing Saul told him, so I thought that was kind of funny.
I don't either, so I can't blame him. So I don't think anybody, like, if you don't have the you couldn't get it. I don't if you don't have the code in front of you and stuff like.
Yeah, but it's just kind of funny that like that's pretty realistic. That's Jesse wouldn't just remember that.
Yeah.
And the guy just keeps being like, I don't know what you're talking about, but eventually he's like. When Jesse like offers him all the money, to like start a new life, the guy's like, you owe me for the first trip too, because he didn't take it.
I thought that made.
You know what? Fair's fair.
I thought that made sense because the guy that he had to pay for that because the guy took time out of
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jesse takes all the money that he got from Todd's place, and he finds out he's like $1,800 short.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Have a good day, sir." Like he's not taking Jesse, and Jesse's like, "I'm giving you like $500,000 here."
Yeah.
And then Ed's like, "You know what? I don't care. Please leave." And then Jesse's like tries to make him sympathetic. Like, I don't even know what month it is. I've been kept in a cage. And I like how Ed's just like, you and your partner basically sealed your own fate as far as I'm concerned. Which, I mean, he's kind of right.
Yeah. We had a Saul reference, too, because he even says the lawyer sealed his own fate, too. So,
yeah.
So I kind of liked it. Which, yeah, he pretty much is right. Because Walt, even though, like, he pretty much, sealed his own fate by going back. Like, obviously, he had to go back, but, he probably would have died anyway, but he could have, at least lived there the rest of his life and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I think the big thing that caused Walt to go back was when he asked Ed, like, would you give my money to my kids when you find me dead one of these times? And Ed just like, would you believe me if I said yeah?
Yeah.
So Walt kind of knew that, like, one of these days he'll die, and then Ed would just take his money.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much, Jesse wants him to, he's not going to leave the store pretty much until he gives him what he wants. So Ed calls the cops, and Jesse's about to leave. And
I like how when he calls the cops, Jesse's like, "You're full of shit."
Yeah.
And he's like, Because if the cops show up, why would they think why they were going to question why I was giving all this money to this random vacuum store owner? And he's like saying this and this, and he's like, there's no way you call the cops. Just shut up. And then the cops pull in behind Jesse, and then Ed's like, that's some good timing right there. And then Jesse like looks behind him and freaks out and he runs away.
I thought that was because I actually kind of like that he actually did, because typically
he was bluffing too.
Yeah, huh?
I thought he was bluffing too, like Jesse.
Yeah, because typically in Breaking Bad there's a lot of bluffing going on, so I'm like, okay, this is just a Breaking Bad moment. But no, he actually did call the cops, so I thought that was kind of cool. So like when the cops leave and stuff, Jesse calls Ed and basically says they're giving him his money, pretty much.
I like Ed too in that moment where Jesse calls him, and Ed sounds like upset, like, oh god, this guy again.
Yeah.
And Jesse's just like, you're a man of your word, right? And Ed's like, I am. And Jesse's just like, I'll get you your money then.
Yeah.
Ed's like, yeah, sure, if you give me my money, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll take care of you, dude.
Yeah.
We didn't say that, but it's kind of like he's making it pretty clear, like, yeah, if you get me my money, I'll help you out.
I know, yeah. So then, Jesse, we see, I believe it's the next scene, like they cut to his parents' house. They're like washing dishes and stuff, and Jesse calls his parents, and I thought this was a really cool scene. He does ask to talk to his brother, but he's actually like away at camp. In real life, they couldn't get the same actor because it's been even longer than 6 years, right? Because
it should have been like season 1 or 2.
Yeah, so
I was watching this clip on YouTube the other day, and someone said like, "Oh, I really wish Jesse's brother was in this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I thought the same thing," but I realized it's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
So he would have aged like hell. And then someone commented back to me like, "You're lied. It's only been like 8 years." I'm like, "Oh yeah, forgive me for not remembering the episode came out when I was like 7. Like God, I got the wrong year." I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
Listen, some people are just assholes.
It's not like, I mean, he's in a pretty memorable episode, but it's not like you sit there study like each date of when every episode came out. Like,
I know, exactly. And again, like I said, that episode came out when I was like 8, so I just didn't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Jesse's brother in this scene, but he, unless they hired a new actor.
Yeah.
The old one would have been like in his 20s by now.
Yeah. So then, Jesse pretty much it says to his parents, like, he saw him on the news and you said that you think I should turn myself in. And Jesse says that he doesn't really, he thinks it's the right thing to do, but he doesn't really want to turn himself in because that's admit in defeat. He doesn't say that to his parents, but that's kind of what he implies.
Well, I like how he's like, remember that park where we used to have picnics together? Meet me, I'm there. Meet me there.
Yeah.
And then before that, Jesse says last thing he says to his parents are, "You did the best you could. Don't blame yourself. Whatever happens, it's on me."
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. That was kind of his "I did it for me" moment. That we had with Skylar. Just saying that, and it's also cool because, before Jesse was blaming his parents for not giving him opportunities.
Yeah.
Get better. Or not believing in him. So I kind of like that. Jesse's I kind of dug my own grave here. So don't blame yourself.
Yeah. And
I like how he told his parents to go meet him at a place where it's they had happy memories.
Yeah.
He himself is trying to get away, but he's also trying to give his parents closure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he kind of knows this will be the last time they'll talk.
Yeah. So they go, and you've mentioned this before, I did too how it showed that they still cared about him because they dropped everything that they were doing just to go meet his son.
Yeah, they have a scene where Jesse breaks into the house. Oh yeah, I like how as soon as they drive off, the police were outside their house and they start following them.
Yeah.
Because that kind of makes sense. If you're looking for a massive criminal, see what's happening at his parents' house.
Yep.
And then Jesse sneaks into the house. He just knows where the key is, like under like a brick.
Yep.
And he walks into the kitchen and he sees like the faucet still on, and he like turns it off.
Yep.
That was kind of Jesse realizing that like his parents, like you said, dropped everything as soon as he called.
Yep. And he steals like an antique gun that like was his like, what do you say, like his great grandfather's.
Yeah, and I like how he's like trying to get into the vault that has it, like the safe that has it, and he's like, "My brother's birthday."
Kind of showing like he's the favorite child in a sense.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing, because I feel like the scene with the faucet was a callback to that conversation Jesse had with his brother.
Yeah.
Jesse's like, you're the favorite, and the little brother's like, "Are you kidding me? All they talk about is you."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's kind of like just both. It's like, Jesse's a little bitter that his parents love his brother so much, or like he's like their pride and joy.
Yeah.
But it's also Jesse realizing like they do still love him.
Yeah. So yeah, they unlock he takes the gun. He goes to like the warehouse where Neil and everybody else are. And then they show the flashback, which we already talked about, so we don't need to talk. Unless you want us to repeat ourselves, we're not talking about it again.
So before that, they had like a bunch of girls, like a bunch of strippers, like show up, and and all the guys at the warehouse were just like doing cocaine and shit.
Yeah.
But the like the bouncer, like the bodyguard for the ladies, he's in Better Call Saul.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think you're at that part. Yeah, where Mike takes a job for the bald guy.
That's right. That is right. Yeah. That is cool. Yeah, that's a cool hidden Easter moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it too because Jesse probably couldn't have taken him, but maybe seeing him in Better Call Saul, he probably could have because the guy's he's kind of a wimp because he ran away.
Yeah, like Mike beats the shit out of one guy and the other guy just and then he just runs away.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's kind of cool then.
Yeah. Taught you a little something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jesse basically just waits for all the chicks to leave because he doesn't they're innocent. Basically, he doesn't want to put them in danger.
Yeah. So he goes into the warehouse and basically says like, I need 800. Was it 800 grand or just a grand?
$800, I think. It's something like that. It's like a little under $2,000.
Yeah, and they basically don't want to give it to him because they're just being asked.
Hey, you shouldn't have come back here, dude. That the last time we met should have been the last time.
Yeah. So Jesse
pulls out his grandfather's gun or great grandfather.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, Jesus, what is that, dude, an antique? And I like how Jesse's even like, I don't know, it was my great grandfather's or something.
Yeah. And the gun that he has like would like win in a shootout in like a second. Like Jesse went last.
Yeah. Neil has like a newer gun, obviously. And Neil, I feel like he says this because he's high as shit.
Yeah.
So he's like, how about we have a little duel? And I like how Jesse's even like, what, like the Wild West?
Yeah.
Get it? Because obviously that's like what this is going for.
That's kind of what like
we like grab a quick draw. Huh?
That's kind of what Breaking Bad goes for too. It's kind of like a lot of Wild West stuff.
Yeah, like the train heist is a big one.
Yeah. Or like when Gus like is walking like through the bullets, that was kind of like a Wild West call back, and like some like face like I love the face offs in the desert. You would get like a Wild West feel to it and stuff.
Yeah, like the idea of like like the DEA are like the sheriffs.
Yeah.
And like the drug dealers are like the outlaws.
So yeah, they're gonna have a duel. Whoever draws faster pretty much wins because then they can easily just kill.
And I like how Kenny's like, Jesus, Neil, it's like, don't do this. And Neil's just like, shut up. And you kind of tell Kenny's like the bitch boy. Because like when Jesse mentions what's
Neil
up,
doesn't have anything to gain or anything to. Well, he doesn't have anything to gain from doing this too.
He really doesn't. Like all of his buddies like have guns. I'm pretty sure. Well, they don't have guns, but like Kenny has a gun.
Yeah.
So they easily could have just shot Jesse, but he's I want to make this into a sport.
Yeah.
Well, when Jesse first mentions that he has like like a third of the money they took, Kenny's like, Jesus, Neil, you gave this guy like that much money.
Yeah.
And he was just like, shut up, Kenny.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell, Kenny's like the bitch boy here. Neil's calling the shots.
So let me talk about this scene, because I'm going to talk about the flashback that's coming up next. So.
Oh yeah, sure. So they have that little standoff where Neil's getting ready to holster his, pull his gun out of the holster where he's doing the finger thing. And then Jesse has a gun in his pocket, and one of the guns in his pocket, and he just shoots Neil. And that's cool. Like, you see, like, all the blood on the door, and he just, like, falls over.
Yeah.
And then Kenny, like, reaches for his gun, and Jesse and him have, like, a shoot-off. And I love it. Like, Jesse, like, shoots him through the head, and he, like, falls through, like, a glass door.
Yeah.
And then the three other guys are just, like, hiding.
The three randoms, the three background people that aren't good enough. I guess maybe Aaron Paul, since he's producing this movie, like, you know what? Yeah, you're not good enough to kill. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Aaron Paul's like, I'm gonna make myself look like a badass.
Yeah.
But for real though, Jesse like channeled his inner Heisenberg and Mike in this scene, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I was like, I kind of figured Jesse would be like kind of like a pacifist, like he wouldn't want to kill anyone.
Well, I think it goes back to
Jesse basically just doubled his kill count.
Well, I think what you said though, I feel like Jesse only feels bad when he has to kill like innocent people. I
feel like Jesse, Jesse knows these guys are pieces of shit.
I mean, I don't know about I feel like Kenny he should have felt a little bit bad about, because I don't really think Kenny was really, that we know of anyways, really did anything wrong towards Jesse. So
yeah, Neil was kind of like the asshole there.
Yeah.
Kenny was still a criminal. Like, he wasn't a good guy, but, like, he kind of seemed better off than Neil.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, he's just a bad guy. Because you kind of...
Yeah. Oh, to be fair, Jesse didn't want to kill Kenny. Kenny kind of started shooting at him first. Yeah.
Well, you're taking away from Mike's speech when you say he's a criminal. He's not a good guy. You're not really taking what Mike's speech is seriously that he said.
Oh, yeah. And Better Call Saul, Mike speaks about good criminals and bad cops.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that, so.
Yeah, Jesse does not agree. Jesse tells the other three guys to get up, give him their driver's license, and then Jesse's like, I know who you are, and I know where you live. And I like how one of the guys is like, I have kids, and Jesse's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, well, one, maybe Jesse doesn't care because the guy just saw him with like a bunch of strippers, so guy is clearly not a good father.
Yeah.
But also too, like, maybe Jesse does care because he's letting the guys live.
Yeah.
And Jesse always has like a soft spot for kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jesse just lets him go, and then on the way out, one of the guys is like, "Hey, dude, you're on fire," because like Jesse like fired the gun from his pocket.
Yeah.
Just like it heated up his pocket, and like he's on fire, and he just like stomps it out real quick.
Oh, this is so. I mean, this could be like. This probably is going to be honorable mentions when we do like best scenes ever. Like, it was kind of cool. It was like you said, Jesse got to have like an Eisenberg like Mike moment. So
yeah. So like I granted the shoot off is a little dumb because they're even like this is a Wild West standoff.
Yeah.
But also it's like the guys are on cocaine, so it's whatever. Yeah. And I get why they're being stupid, and also it was just like a good finale. Like Jesse's last like hurrah before he rides off into the sunset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jesse takes all the money. We assume he takes more than $2,000. He has $500,000 right there. I assume he would want to take it all.
Yeah.
And then Jesse like sees a bunch of gasoline or something, so he lights it all up, gets back to his truck or his car, and the whole warehouse explodes.
I think it was kind of cool too because I believe. Oh no, that was. Actually, there's something cool I forgot to talk about the flashback, actually. So, since all that meth equipment...
Keep talking, I'm going to plug in my computer.
Yeah. So that meth equipment was all there. There's a bit of a continuity error that Vince Gilligan talks about. The blood print that Walter touches, like, before he dies is still there. Like, it's not like you could see it easily, but, like, if you probably really looked for it, you would find it. Vince Gilligan talked about how he didn't really want to get rid of that because that like thing means a lot to him because it's like the end of the show. So it wasn't like they put it there and they forgot about it. Like Vince Gilligan just couldn't put it within himself to get rid of that blood, which makes sense. And it's not like it's not like it's not like if it sticks out. Like you would have to like actively look for it to stick out. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of I do think that's kind of cool.
And maybe Walt's blood traveled in time. You never know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really cool like finale or like final standoff to end off Jesse's story. I really like it. Jesse be a badass. Like Walt and Mike, real quick.
Another scene that was supposed to happen was after the shootout. Like Jesse was supposed to be like bleeding out, and like he like just got to like Ed just in time, like before he died and stuff like that. Actually, do I have? I might have. I can just read the like article for it. So let's see. Yeah, so it says another big development removed during post-production was Jesse getting shot in the side during his final shoot down with Neil and Kate. Oh, it's not Kenny. It's Casey, by the way.
Oh, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares? He's just a bitch boy. So
yeah, I know, right?
This would have followed with a wounded Jesse getting found by Ed, however you say his last name, Galbraith, at the vacuum store the following morning, opening his car's trunk to reveal the cash he acquired to fulfill his end of the bargain. But he said that he felt that these scenes would provide little payoff to the viewers, so he removed he removed this scene pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. It's not that important.
Especially too because it kind of takes away like Jesse outsmarted him and like that big badass moment he has if he's just bleeding out eventually and stuff too. So
yeah. So
then we get the next flashback though. Yeah, it's cool. You see the flashback. I didn't really realize it was the flashback at first because like until I saw like Jesse was acting like season 2 Jesse, because since he doesn't look any different really, but he's wearing like like that yellow orange jacket that he would wear like in the first couple of seasons. He's talking to like I think it's meant to be like Jane and like the hotel room and stuff. You see Walt and Jesse, but you can tell Bryan Cranston's clearly wearing a bald cap and like like he's put on like some makeup to make it look and stuff to make it look like he looks like he did in season 2, which makes sense because you're not going to shave your head for one scene.
Yeah, I know, right?
And they walk out together.
I love that where it's like Jesse like leaves his hotel room and he starts walking down the hallway, and then right in the hotel room next to him, Walter starts walking right next to him, and it's like that was a moment where I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so happy to see that.
And they sit down. You can instantly see. It was really cool to see Jesse act this way again. Like he's acting like he owns the place pretty much. He, basically has the guy leave the pitcher of water with him. Like he bribes him to do so and stuff like that. Like he's grabbing like, it's not like he was eating like crap either. He's grabbing like all the fruit and stuff. Where you see it versus Walt, like he's kind of not really eating and stuff. Because this was also the same.
I like how when Jesse's ordering getting the food, he's like, yeah, put that food on, bitch. And that was the only bitch in the whole movie. And it was improvised by Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
But I kind of like, it shows like back to when Jesse's a little less serious and more like of the comic relief guy.
Yeah. And they, we see the RVs parked outside because we find out this was the same day where the same episode is 4 days out, where they were just out for 4 days, like cooking meth, and they got trapped out there and stuff. Because
it's like on their way back.
They play back like a callback to like the item that they used, so that way they could like save themselves and stuff. I liked because you get to see some of the callbacks, like Jesse like got the scientific like thing that's in pineapple like completely wrong. So Walt's like, you were close, actually not even close type. Like you got to kind of see like them act that way. like all over again, this type of stuff.
Yeah. You were saying this too. I'm really glad the flashback is like here because this is like when Walt and Jesse's relationship was at its best.
Yeah, because they became really close because this was before Walt was trying to manipulate Jesse, and this was before they were having to deal with stuff like getting rid of Gus Fring or like I said, Walt at the height of his power and that type of stuff. So
yeah, this is like when they were like small time. They were, like really close, working together.
Yeah. So and the LV they said they had out there too, because obviously then we have to say, if this was supposed to be a secret, why would they just said like the LV was done out there as like for like a Breaking Bad like commercial type of thing. I don't know how many people bought it, but we'll see. I say they say this, but how many people do you think bought this story? Do you think they were like, I don't know, it's some big's going on here, like, and like the extras.
Because I was thinking, there's like there's a lot of like people in this restaurant, so it's like how'd they justify this scene?
But then I was about to get into that. So the extras were like, I think like close friends and family of like the crew, so that way can you imagine someone just walked in by accident though, like this?
I like walk in and you see Walt and Jesse. It's like, and he just like slowly walks out.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't happen because obviously they get told they can't go there, but that just like they just snuck in or something, like. Yeah. But anyhow, but it's just really cool to see how secretive this was. But yeah, Walt wants to make sure like all the money is going to go to his family and how long it's going to take to sell this batch. It's really crazy to think like they found Gus Fring at a good time because it was going to take them a while just to sell the batch that they made. What did they say, like 6 months or something? Like they found Gus Fring at a good time. And Jesse said he's going to make sure his family gets everything, and then it kind of flips where kind of Jesse's like the main focus of the scene, where Jesse says, well. Walt says to Jesse, like, what's going to happen to you afterwards? Like, what do you want to do with your life? Which is, like, the main focus of Breaking Bad, pretty much. And, Jesse says, I don't know, and Walt's asking Jesse, like, would you want to go to college? What would you be interested in studying? And Jesse just says, like, sports medicine. I don't think he really had an interest in sports medicine. He was just, being a goof.
Yeah. And I like how Walt's like, or business. You could basically teach that class.
Because if you think about it, like, even though Walt knew a lot about, like, probably that side, like, Jesse really knows the business side when it came to meth. Like, he could probably do it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And then Walt's just like, get your GED and you're good to go. And I like how Jesse's like, what do I need a GED for? I got my high school diploma. And I like, oh, okay. And Jesse's like giving him shit, like, you were on the stage when they handed it to me, you dick.
So it's kind of like one of those things where Walt sees potential in Jesse, but he's kind of like he's kind of like he doesn't really think Jesse's like really capable of anything at the same time.
It's like Walt's one of the only people in his life to think he could do anything, but even then, that anything isn't what he could do more than that.
Yeah.
And basically, everyone underestimates Jesse.
I mean, I'm assuming it was one of those things, though. Like, I'm not saying that, but Jesse probably like barely passed high school.
Probably just barely, yeah.
Yeah.
He still passed,
Yeah. Walt's just really making conversation. He even says that we did have this question. What would if this wasn't season 2 Jesse? How could this conversation have gone? It would have been kind of cool.
It's also kind of sad when you look back because it's like Jesse can't go to college now. Jesse can't do any of those things that he wanted to, or he could have, because Walt kind of ruined his life in a way,
Yeah.
So it's a little sad too.
I mean, I guess he can because he's changed his identity and stuff, but he can't do it like in Albuquerque and all this type of stuff, like.
Yeah.
I even like the end.
Jesse would need to keep like a low profile, like if Jesse like applies to a school, they might like do like a background check,
So I mean, you could go to like community colleges because like
yeah. You get what I'm saying though. There's a lot of things Jesse can't do now.
Yeah.
And it's seeing how they're close really now, but like by the end, so much shit has happened.
Yeah, but it's not like he can't. But it's not like he can't because some colleges you don't even need to have the high school diploma to graduate. So
right. I'm just saying it's kind of the scene's
yeah.
a little tragic knowing everything that happens later.
But he's probably never. He could probably. I'm assuming he can't go to like a state school though, like like you do and stuff. But anyhow, I really like how at the end it's a story about Jesse, but at the same time it's kind of like one last like ending to Walt's character in a sense. Even though you could say, well, that was when he died. This kind of gave us like a little bit more about Walt's character, where Walt
that's
said,
what I was saying earlier. Like I wouldn't consider this like the end to Walt's character. Like I would consider the end of Breaking Bad the end of Walt's character. But like this is just like a little like thing to make it even like sadder or like I never really considered Walt's death to be sad to me.
Yeah.
But like I feel like this scene kind of makes it sad.
Where Walt says, you're lucky, you're young enough where you can still do something with your life, and it's just kind of sad because
well, I think what he says is like you didn't have to wait your whole life to do something special.
Yeah. So Walt, it's kind of like good for Jesse, but like also sad for Walt because he basically kind of really didn't do anything special with his whole life, or if he had the opportunity.
Like 2 years of his life, he probably lived more than the first 50.
Yeah. And believe it or not, he hadn't even for Walt, it was just getting good for him. Like, and if you think about it too, like this scene's even sadder because you got to remember Walt had just gotten that test where he thought like this was going to be it. Like that's why they went and cooked all that meth. So he didn't know he was going to even live.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
So,
and yeah, and then that's it for Walt and Jesse, man. It's a little sad.
Yeah, it was cool. Vince Gilligan talked about how he did this scene because it fit the story, but it was like one last chance for fans to get to see like Walt and Jesse together again. I would like to see like Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul work together again. I think that would be pretty cool. Like
yeah, I mean they're apparently like in real life they're like really close.
Yeah, so I would like to see. It'd be kind of cool if they did like a comedy and they kind of referenced that they worked together. Like maybe I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like whenever like Drake Bell and Josh Peck work together.
Yeah, like do you remember? I don't know what show this is, but did you know apparently like they were in a show together like after Drake and Josh and they referenced Drake and Josh like in that show.
Oh, I didn't know that. I remember they were like I remember they were in a movie together and like Drake Bell was playing Drake Bell.
Yeah.
And Josh Peck was playing just like a regular guy and he's like, "Oh my God, you're Drake Bell."
Yeah. Well, it kind of sucks because apparently they're not really close, but that's a story for
I heard about that. I think they made up.
I know, yeah, but they're not as close as back then. Like,
yeah.
But then the next scene is in Alaska. It wasn't Alaska. It was I think Arizona. Because that's a pain. Like they can film outside of state, but that's a pain in the ass to get all that equipment to Alaska.
Yeah, so they said it was Alaska, but just go with it.
Yeah, they got Arizona because I feel like the set they used like looked the same as like where they say it was. One thing is they had to like get it at night because there's like mountains in the background that's not supposed to be there, so they had to make sure that didn't get cut in the. So they like filmed it at night and just kind of cut that stuff out because then people would instantly know like, yeah, this ain't Alaska.
Yeah. And I like how it's like when Walt went into hiding, it was like a snowy area and he was miserable and like he hated it, and this was like a place he was going to die and be miserable. But for Jesse, he's going to like another like snowy area, but like it's a chance for him to like start new and like be happy.
Yeah, that's cool. So then
little parallel between them.
Yeah. So then Jesse and like we find out what Jesse's new name is and stuff. We couldn't find we didn't have enough time to like I forgot what it was. But You can just look it up online. And pretty much we find out Jesse has an envelope with Brock's name on it, like he's gonna send him. We don't exactly know what it is. That was also cut from the original production because they didn't have time for it. But I kind of like it. It's kind of like a bit ambiguous. I think that's gonna be like a deleted scene if they release it on DVD. We'll find out what it was. So that'll be kind of cool. And yeah, they drive off, and this is, I think, because they said Ed was also there to film something else for Better Call Saul, but I think this was the last thing he actually Robert Foster actually filmed.
Yeah, because he passed away afterwards, which is I'm glad he got to film this before he passed away.
I wonder what they would have done if he had passed away, and ironically enough, I know I shouldn't say that, but he died from brain cancer. So yeah.
Oh yeah. What was I gonna say? I'm kind of glad he got to end his career on a high note.
Yeah.
Because everyone loves Breaking Bad, so it's kind of nice that he got to even if he wasn't a super important character in the show, it's nice he got to reprise it.
Yeah, absolutely. So then Jesse drives away, and I really like this because we see a flashback, and he's kind of it's in the same position as he is in the present. So we see him looking over, he's in the same call and that type of thing. And we see with Jane, and they talk about a quote "Go wherever the universe takes you," which I think she said at some point in Breaking Bad. I believe it was right before she died too. Actually, no, it was when they went to that art exhibit, in the flashback. And Jesse thought it was a cool philosophy, and Jane says that's a terrible philosophy, because sometimes you don't want to go where the universe takes you. Sometimes you want to make those decisions for yourself, and pretty much it just ends with Jesse driving away, baby, now he can make those decisions for himself.
And I like that I like two things about it. One, I like how Jesse's last shot of Breaking Bad was him, crying and laughing, all messed up, in a car. And then his last scene of El Camino is he's driving away, but now he's not hysterical. He's calm, and he just has a small smile on his face,
Yeah.
Like he's at peace.
Yeah.
And before it's we don't know what happens to him. Now it's we can wonder what his life will be like after this, but we can kind of know he got his happy ending, confirmed.
Yeah.
And the flashbacks, this one made me kind of think that's at least because it's, I kind of forget that it's Jesse having these flashbacks,
Yeah.
And I kind of made me think maybe this is how Jesse will think, whenever he thinks about Walt and Todd, Mike, and Jess and Jane, these will be the things that come to his head.
Yeah.
That makes me think that Walt seems a little sweet. After all the shit that happened with Walt, that's how he'll remember Walt.
Yes.
Even though Jane kind of became an addict again, and they got kind of corrupt, and all that shit that happened, that's how he'll remember Jane,
Yeah. That's kind of cool in a way. And so maybe that does show maybe we know kind of what Jesse thinks of Walt.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he has a ton of problems with Walt. But and even if he'll have these problems until the day he dies, he can kind of think back and be what, at one point me and Walt were father and son,
Yeah. Yeah. So now we got to do the letter grade.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Yep. So yeah, I really like this. Yeah, I thought it was a very good send off. And one thing I should say I like about this movie is no matter what grade I give it, it does not ruin Breaking. I'm not saying that's a bad movie or anything like that, but it doesn't ruin Breaking Bad. It's kind of its own thing type of thing. And I also like how this was a Jesse movie. Breaking Bad Even though it was a Walter-based show, even though it had, since it was like the first thing, it had like some of Jesse's moments, Saul's, Gus's, and stuff. But Better Call Saul has that Saul feel to it, where like has that comedic moment and all that type of stuff. And it has, since Mike's like a main character, it has like those Mike things. This just feels like a movie that like it would be about Jesse. So I really liked that. I like that Jesse gets his happy ending. And I thought it was a really well send off. Just the only thing that would have changed is, maybe have like a little bit more, make something feel like stuff's happening in the present, and just kind of change how they kind of did like Walt's, like announcement of Walt's death, I should say. So I'll give it
it was kind of just like, just they said it and then they never really addressed it again.
Yeah, and also get rid of maybe shorten the Todd flashback. Just maybe.
And lengthen Jane's.
Yeah, so I'll give it like an A-. I think it's very, very well done, and I'll give it probably like a 92 out of 100. I think that's a fair grade.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna give it a B+, like an 89, like on the verge of an A.
Yeah,
I really like it. It was definitely not what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting like Breaking Bad 2 in a way, and this was a very Jesse-centric movie, which I'm okay with. I love Jesse, so I was really happy with it. It was good to give him closure. Pretty much what you said. Shorten the Todd flashbacks. Maybe make the Jane one a little longer, just because that was kind of like the one to end the movie on. Maybe have a little more stuff happen in the present. And I don't know, Neil as the final villain, he was cool, but like he just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Yeah.
But I'm glad Jesse got to kind of have like his badass moment. And I love this movie, and like you said, it didn't ruin Breaking Bad at all. It if anything, it made it better.
Yeah. But now we gotta see, go over the, how it did in theater on Netflix wise and stuff. So yeah, it did get released to some theaters. One of them was in Los Angeles, Rangy Village Theater. It had like multiple cast members from the film, Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul. It wasn't in theaters very long, though. It was only there from like October 11th to the 13th in the U.S. It did end up premiering on television on February 26th this year. Not February 16th this year. With like obviously they aired the whole show and then did that because I think they were doing the El Camino miniseries. And as I mentioned, Robert Foster died this day, which was very sad. So the audience viewership number, the Nielsen report for El Camino drew 2.65 million viewers within a day of its release. It has an overall of 6.54 million total viewers during its opening weekend. It's reported that at least 8.27 million viewers watched a few minutes of the film during its first 3 days of availability. Fortunately, I wasn't one of those people, but you were.
Yeah. I'm not waiting for you, Owen. Sorry.
Yeah. This compared well to Breaking Bad's 5th season premiere with 5.9 million viewers and final with 10.3 million viewers when they first aired it on AMC. After the first week of its release, Netflix announced that over 25 million households had seen the film. I think I was one of those people because I think I saw it like a week after. So I'm in there somewhere. So for El Camino's limited theoretical release, 12 of the 125 theaters had screened the film, reported a combined gross of $40,000 with an average of $3,333 per venue. The Wrap calculated that if the film had a proper wide theatrical release and that every reported viewer had bought a ticket for the average price to see it, that it would likely have topped the box office that weekend, which means it would have done the best.
Yeah.
Months later, the film drew 774,000 viewers for its AMC television premiere. And as for critical releases, it's basically all the same. A lot of people really like this movie for the same reasons we did. Some people didn't like it, thought it was unnecessary because it really, was just a longer episode of Breaking Bad. Didn't really like the inclusion of Neo because he just, like you said, he just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I like the character. I just wish he was in the movie more,
Yeah. And then I think they still, I don't feel this way, but they felt like they still didn't get a full conclusion because basically the movie just ended with Jesse driving away like Breaking Bad did. So, they thought it was too flat. They had too many flashbacks. So
yeah. So I think a lot of that's fair. Actually, if you're done reading that, I have a fun story I forgot when I first saw Camino. I invited my friend Will over to watch it with me, and my dad, and what was I gonna say? Yeah, and then we watched it, because he said he's seen Breaking Bad, and then we got to the part where they confirmed Walt's dead. And he's like, "Oh damn, Walt's dead." I'm like, "I thought you saw the show." And he's like, "Oh, I'm only on season 2." I'm like, "What the?" When I said we should watch this movie, and you said you'd seen Breaking Bad, I assumed you meant you finished it. So he basically had the whole show spoiled for him.
That sucks.
And my dad fell asleep 10 minutes into the movie.
Yep.
And then my dad went later on when I was at college. He went to rewatch it again, and he fell asleep again.
So I'm guessing your dad. I guess this movie's put your dad to sleep. So.
Apparently.
This movie too got nominated and won some awards. It was nominated for Cinema Auto Society Awards. It didn't win. Oh wait, sorry. That's the category actually. My bad. Outstanding achievement in sound mixing for television, movie, or limited series. It won Best Movie Made for Television, but I guess technically since this qualifies as television since it's Netflix, it was Jesse Plemons, who plays Todd, was nominated Best Supporting Actor in a movie/miniseries. He was nominated for. Vince Gilligan was nominated for Outstanding Directing Movies for Television and Limited Series. It was nominated for Outstanding Producer of Streamed or Television Motion Pictures. Obviously, it's all the producers were nominated for this award. It won Best Motion Picture Made for TV, and Aaron Paul was nominated for Best Actor for miniseries or television, and Vince Gilligan was nominated for Long Form Adapted. So there you go. Yep. It was nominated and won some awards. I don't know what Aaron Paul lost to. Hopefully it was something really good.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, we pretty much said our thoughts on the movie. You give it an A-. I gave it a B+. All that's left to do is plug our channels. Check out CM Brothers later this week. We're gonna upload our review of Death Note 2: The Last Name.
Yep.
Check out this channel, Owen Talkinator. Yeah, Owen Talkinator. Where we're gonna talk about the Jesse Win or Lose.
Yeah.
The Breaking Bad miniseries review.
Yeah.
And other stuff. Wrestling Fortune 44, where me, you, and a couple of your friends probably are going to talk about Dark Side of the Ring coming up in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I have a channel, AJ Talent. I will maybe upload on it eventually.
We'll see.
I make so many videos with you, I just kind of don't do mine.
Yeah. The thing is, too, you can say, well, you can do something I won't like, but I feel like we like the same things, so.
Yeah. So, I'll we're in quarantine, so I'll probably get around to making my own stuff eventually. Because, I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So,
that's pretty much it.
This review is almost as long as the movie we're talking about.
I mean, not really. It's an hour and 44 minutes, so it's not too bad. We've done, but yeah, so we finally did this movie review. I'm pretty happy about it. You'll see it. Well, you should have. It should be Monday when you see this. But for me right now, it's Friday. That's why I'm saying you're gonna see it in the future. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you guys later.
Peace.
All right, now it's fine.
All right, cool.
I know. I would have been pissed. Then it's like the universe is really fucking us over. Like, all right. So now it works. Now we're gonna.
Hey, everyone.
Can you believe it? We're actually doing this, AJ. Like,
I know, right? It's been what, 8 months, almost a year. Crazy. And to think we were gonna review this like 2 days after it came out.
Yeah, I know. So I feel like we've explained it, but we'll just explain it. Obviously, you can tell by the title of the video. You're not going to see this video till Monday because that defeats the purpose of a movie Monday review. Like, not
reviewing this on a Friday.
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah, we're finally doing El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie.
Yeah. So pretty much what happened is, we didn't finish like doing the season reviews. And I think like my aunt came for like a week, so that kind of messed us up a little bit. I think you also moving into school at the same time, so that kind of messed up us wanting to do that. And then, I think every time we were going to Skype, I would always be at the house I'm in right now for obviously the personal reasons that I remember too. It was so awkward. I don't want to go into too much, but I could never tell you so because I wasn't supposed to. So now you know. Now you know. So we won't say any more of that though. So.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, yeah, personal shit. I was dealing with school and I think I had midterms around the time too. So that was a thing. So it was awful. But we're finally here. We're doing it now because now we're in quarantine and we have no excuse to. Can we start over because this was kind of messy?
Yeah, it was very messy. Anyway, yeah. Hey! 3-second delay.
Damn it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Owen Finch, and I'm here with
AJ Talon, and this is 8 months after we were supposed to do it. Our review of El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie.
Yeah, because we had like pretty much personal stuff and obviously school and stuff that kind of kept us from doing it. Because not just this, the season reviews we would do.
Right, our season reviews took forever. We our schedules weren't meshing. But now we're in quarantine and we have nothing but time, so we're finally getting around to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's start the video. I don't know how good. Hold on 1 second. I think I broke my charger. Either that or oh no. Now we gotta redo this. 3-second delay. Yep.
Again, we're gonna